Hello,
Hey everyone.
how are you?
Great. You did put a lot of pressure on me. I'm listening.
But I know you have the answer to all the questions. I
um,
was asking you actually so many questions, and every time she has the little smile, like I can tell, like everybody asks you those questions every time, and you know what to answer, and that's very inspiring. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
maybe I'll let you explain what Refarm'd is, because you will explain it way better than me. And yeah.
Sure. So yeah, I'm Geraldine. I'm the founder of Refarm'd. So Refarm'd aims to help initially dairy farms transition into sanctuaries and create a new business model by becoming plant-based milk producers. So we help them in all this process, and we try to create a solution that fits for any type of farms, and that is quite quick and secure for the farmers, because that was the biggest problem. So yeah, I started working on that about 1 year and a half now. And so the first year was basically doing research, talking with a lot of farmers, ex-farmers, people in these industries, or working with farmers organizations, and all these things, to really even think if it makes even sense to have such program, to see if it could work out. And yeah, I've got a lot of great feedback, and so with the help of everyone, I started creating a solution, and working on it more actively. And since 2 months now, I really grow the team. So we are now 9 people working on it,
Wow.
and really getting more active, and about to hopefully next month transition our first 3 farms. So yeah, it's really exciting and really challenging.
That's beautiful. So just before we start to talk more deeply about Refarm and about all this strategy that is amazing, that's gonna change the world. I truly believe that. What is your vegan journey? How you came to realize that you want to be vegan, and then you want to do more, and then you actually want to help farmer, because that's what it's about. People always
Yeah.
think that we are only vegan for the animal. No, we have compassion for those farmers as well. We understand they have no choice, and this is why you come with actually a possibility to offer to them.
Yeah, exactly. So myself, I'm vegan for almost 10 years now. Um, I did it at the same time with my husband, so it was easier because we did it together. And at this, we are from France, so we were living in France at this time, so it was a bit hard 10 years ago. But yeah, anyway, I started to wanting to, because I'm from the hotel industry. So I studied management and yeah, in the hospitality industry. So I worked in a lot of restaurants and hotels, but as you can imagine, not vegan restaurants or not vegan hotels. So when I transitioned, it was harder and harder for me to work in such places, especially the last place where I worked was a grill house, basically. So it was really hard. So I really wanted to find a way to make a living without continuing in this industry. So I got out of it. I started a few different businesses, like a vegan online shop in France, then an event planning solution. And a few years ago, I also tried to, with some other people, we tried to create a vegan village in Portugal. So there were different little projects like this that we tried. But inside of me, I always wanted to create a sanctuary, to have my own sanctuary. But I was never really happy about the way sanctuaries work right now, in the sense that they are not self-sustainable, that they rely on donation. I personally know sanctuaries and friends of me who have sanctuaries who struggle a lot. Some had to close down, and so it's really hard. And it also requires a lot of resources. You need to find land, you need to find volunteers to help. It's also quite of risky, risky thing for the animals, because when you have to close down, you end up with all these animals that you have to find a home for. So I was also never happy about the fact that if I create a sanctuary, I would be limited in the amount of animals I could save. So that's why I never got to the point of creating one all this time. And so I tried to think about a new model of sanctuaries that could be self-sustainable and that we could scale up, basically, so that we could replicate that anywhere in the world and easily and quickly. And that's how it just got to my my realization that well, farms could be the perfect sanctuaries because they already have the land, they already have the animals, they have the people caring for the animals who know how to care for them. Obviously, I'm not talking about factory farms. I'm talking about small to medium-sized farms. So I was I was just thinking it would be perfect if we can transition them, because first of all, we fixed the problem at the, how we say, at the base, and not at the base, but in the sense that we stop the production. When we transform one farm, we stop the production of new animals for the coming years. So we fix the problem at the source, and we don't allocate more resources. We don't use more of the land that already animal farming is using so much. So we don't need to, because if we continue using more and more lands to save all these animals, we just adding more up to this, all these resources. And so that's why I thought it would be perfect. But obviously I needed a solution for these farmers to make it happen, and to be able to continue to sustain themselves and their farm and the animals without exploiting them. That's why I started thinking about the plant-based milk solution, so that I can still keep their farm, keep their animals, and still produce something, produce some food, produce something for the people, because that's something that farmers are really proud of and like, is that they really have this history of providing food for the people, and making a quality product, and a fresh product. So I really wanted to keep that in mind, and to make something that farmers would like to do as well and enjoy doing, and keep a part of their identity basically with that. So that's how it all got to this solution.
So I have thousands of questions coming in mind. Like how this is possible? Do they gonna have to grow like other type of product to create milk, or how this gonna happen? How they can create other type of milk?
No, so because we want it to work for any type of farms, there are lots of farms that could not start growing because they don't have the land for it, or those who have the land for it, but we want them to keep the animals because we want them to become a sanctuary. So they could not use the land where the animals are, to start planting. And even if they could use some part, you cannot just use a land that was used for animals for human food production. It takes at least it takes some years, before you're ready for that. Then you need to plant, then you need to harvest. It costs a lot of machines, equipment, and learning as well to do that. So that's actually the solution that some farmers are going through right now. The solution they have basically is when I want to get out of animal exploitation, is either to just quit their farm and give it all up and do something totally different. But as you can imagine, it's really scary, and it's giving up all your family heritage. And when you're already in your mid ages or late ages, it's hard to find a new job like this. And the other solution that some go through is to start planting crops. But this is also a really difficult and long solution. You need to be sure you have customers on the other side. You need to plant, you need to harvest, and again, it's a lot of investment. So I wanted to have something else where basically finding a solution where the farmer will not hesitate, because there's no risk for him. We also work with a 3 months trial period, so he can just taste it for 3 months, and if he's not happy, he can go back to what he was doing. Obviously, that's not what we want, but we want to give them this sense of security, and so that they don't feel locked in something, like they engage for now something they don't know about or they're scared about, because it's already not easy for them, to transition. So we really want to make it as simple as possible for them. So to answer your question, they are not planting the crops. We are finding local producers, because what I didn't mention is that they're going to do plant-based milk. So every farm we're working with is going to be making different products according to where they are located. It's already only going to be done with local ingredients made by the farmers on the farm and sold to only local customers. So that's the beauty of it, is that each farm will have his uniqueness, his own products, his own, every product will be different. The quality will be different. It's not going to be a uniform brand, where every farm is going to sell the same thing around the world. That's not what we want. So here we are finding producers. for the ingredient we need. For example, some of the farms we are starting with are going to be making oat milk. So we find organic oat producers, local, that will deliver these oats to the farmers, and then the farmers can process the oats into plant-based milk on the farm. Obviously, some farms have the ability to produce the ingredients they want to, so they can, on top of that, start producing that. But it's the solution for them to get an income immediately and to be able to transition immediately, to not have to wait several years, and to be sure that there are customers and they are not just producing oats and selling oats, they're transforming the oats and making a product and selling a product. So that's the difference. So we're not asking them to plant the crops, but if they want to, or later on if they want to do it, they can. And some of them, for example, will do it and already do it, and can then even sell those crops to other farms nearby, other farms we are helping to get a more revenue from that. And we are starting with plant-based milk, but there's going to be a lot of other types of products. So each farm can decide what kind of milk they're going to be doing. Basically, we start with one milk, but then they can start doing other types of milks, but then also plant-based cheese and plant-based butter, cream, yogurt, all that stuff. And each farm will be able to choose what they want to do and how much they want to do. Some will just do one milk and be happy with that because they have other types of activities they're doing, like events or tour visits or anything. And others will really go 100% on it and have fun with it and start doing cheeses and other kind of stuff. So that's a bit the idea.
Yeah, and there's also a question that I ask you, and when you explain to me, everything starts to make sense. It's how they're gonna make money, because like with one cow, they impregnate them so they can make so much milk, and then they have a lot of milk to sell. But if they do almond or oat milk or whatever, they won't have enough. They won't make as many milk that they are doing now. So how they can make as much money that they are doing now?
Yeah, exactly. So dairy farms are producing huge quantities of milk, like 100,000s of liters. Like for one, I don't remember the numbers, for one cow it's huge, the amount of milk they produce, because they're also obviously bred in that sense. Not transform, I don't know the word again, but like over the years they have made them more productive. Exactly. That's why also they last not as long, like after 4, 5, 6 years. They start to produce less, and because they are just also, their whole body doesn't cannot carry much longer. But so yeah, basically they produce a lot more. But the big difference is that dairy farms are not selling the milk to customers directly. They are going through a lot of different middlemen. So they have basically what they call a processor that comes and collects the milk. Then the processor sends to another company who makes milk or cheese or anything. The farmers don't even know where the milk ends up. And they do not decide on the price. So when they come to collect the milk, and it changes every month. So basically they have a surprise every month. So to what the price would be. And if you look a bit at the numbers, especially the last years, there were lots of months where they are selling under the price of production. So they're selling less than what they have, the cost they have to produce. So they're not making any profit from that. So yeah, they're producing more, but they're earning like a very, very little quantity of the money that these big companies make then in the end when they're selling the milk or the cheese, because it goes through so many different steps. So here the difference is that we are connecting the farmer directly to the customer. There is no middleman. We are not selling in shops even. It's going to be subscription based. So customers subscribe to get fresh milk every week directly from the farm, and therefore the money goes directly to the farmer, and there is no other party that they need to pay. So they will produce much less, but they will earn much more. So from all our calculation, it is totally doable. And we are now still in the experimental phase. Obviously, we are launching our 3 farms next month, and that's where we're really gonna be testing out the model and see if it really works out. But in theory, it all works.
Yeah, and you told me at the end they make like when you take a bottle of milk, they make maybe 5% of the money of this bottle of milk, and when they will sell their own milk, they will make like 85-90% of it. So when they sell one bottle, it's like if they sell 20 of the old one. So
exactly.
better, yeah.
It's not even 5% currently in the dairy. It's really less. It's like 0.25 cents per liter they're selling. And usually they have the same as production costs. So sometimes they can sell to a 0.30, so they have 0.005 profit for each liter, but that's it. So it's crazy. That's why they're struggling so much. And so we hear a lot, support your farmer, go buy milk, go buy cheese, support farm. But when you're doing that, you're not supporting them. You're supporting the big companies that sell it, because the farmer in the end doesn't get more money. So if you really want to support farmers, help them get out of it and have another model, to earn money, because they're not making money. They're just struggling. The ones that making money are the big companies, and even them, they are struggling. But so that's not the way, in my opinion, to help those farmers. They're struggling a lot. Even the big ones, they're just producing, and not earning anything.
Are you bringing back milk deliveries like in glass bottles? Someone asking.
Yeah, so it's going to be, as I mentioned, local ingredients sold locally to local customers in glass bottles that we return and reuse, that the farmer sterilizes and reuse. And for the delivery service, we are trying to find eco delivery services, so who work with electric cars, electro cars, or natural gas cars. So depending on the country we are working with the farmer we are working with, sometimes it's a bit more difficult because there are not so much options. But when there is the option, we're going to go with. And if not, we're going to go with regular deliveries until we have better options. That's also something we hope that will be, that when we are going to be growing, that there is going to be a lot of, a whole network around Refarm'd that's going to be created, like, delivery services specifically for that, and producers that will produce only for us. So we will be able to provide a better, better service, a better experiment, a better product to the customer and for the farmer as well. And therefore reduce prices also, because that's something we want to, is to not be, to make something that can compete with other not plant-based products, so that we really change the habits of the people when they consume these products, because they will know where it is made, and also that it supports farmers, that is local, that is also better for your health, and therefore, obviously, in the beginning, it's not going to be so easy for us to reduce prices, because these farms need to maintain sanctuary, so they need to have lots of costs because of the sanctuary, and we are still obviously figuring everything out, but that's definitely a long-term vision, is to reduce the cost and therefore the prices. And we have different tactics we're going to work with and learn from to make that, and to optimize the cost from the farm.
Nice. And actually, as a customer, if I want right now, I can already subscribe, and whenever they will have a farm that does the transition next to where I live, you will contact me, right? That's how it works.
So you cannot subscribe right now. You can just fill a form. Yeah. Basically, it's a form on the website where you answer some questions like how many liters you would want per week, what kind of delivery you would want, home delivery, pickup location, and stuff like that. And you give your email address, and you say in which city you live, so that this helps us understand where the people are, and so where customers are, because obviously if we don't have the customers on the other side, all this project will not work. We could not help farmers if we don't have customers buying. So you can subscribe you cannot subscribe, you can fill this form, so you will be informed also when a farm is available. But for example, for these 3 farms we are working with, we are hopefully in the end of the month, we are going to open up the pre-orders. So there you will be able to subscribe. Nice. And then there will be a small waiting period from maybe 4 or 5 weeks before you actually receive your first order. And then you will receive an order every week. And basically you pay monthly, or you can also pay yearly if you want to reduce the cost. So that's but for now, you cannot subscribe yet.
Yeah, and when you subscribe to this, and when you pay this, you're actually helping a sanctuary. So that's all the beauty of that. And like someone is asking, can we make ice cream out of oat milk? Yes, you can. You can do so many things. I just discovered we did out of soy milk, but I guess you can do it with any type of milk. Just soy milk? Oh, okay, just soy milk. But we can do a mayonnaise with soy milk. You just put soy milk, oil, you mix all this, and you give mayonnaise. So yeah, there's always many different recipes that you can do. And yeah, I don't know if you have a little more time.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because I wanted to talk about actually the story that happened to my brother with you, how you get in contact, because it's actually like a real proof of what is happening. And so my brother is doing a lot of vigil, so which means that he go in front of slaughterhouse to film, to show what's happening, how the animals came over there, and to talk as well with the farmer, to bear witness, to sometimes give some water if there's pigs or cows. And he talked to these farmers who explain him that they don't want to kill these animals. They love their animals, but they have no other option because if not, they won't have any money to eat. And that's why actually this industry is one where you have the higher rate of suicide. Sorry. And so he start talking to them, and they start to have a powerful conversation, and that's how they introduce them to you, because they want to make this transition, but they think it's impossible. And so yeah, if you want to talk about this story, because I think it's a beautiful.
Sure. It's an amazing story. But yeah, so like you said, they approached these farmers during a vigil in the front of a slaughterhouse, and yeah, they can really feel that they were not really happy about what they were doing. But yeah, like you said, they need to pay the bill in the end of the month. So actually, it was interesting because they even invited them over to the farm. So they went there and spent a weekend there, meeting them. I think the first idea for the farmers were to say, come to our place, you will see that, the animals live good. It was more on this side, but then they had so many discussions. They showed them some documentaries like 73 Cows from Jay Wild. And it really touched them. And so they were just saying, yeah, that would be amazing. I would love, to keep the animals and all that, but how can we do that? And it's funny because they have actually a small sanctuary. They have some cows, and I think sheep as well, that they do not send to slaughter because they fell in love with them, and they keep them. So they have like a part of sanctuary and a part, so it shows, that they have this relationship to the animals, and they love that. So yeah, I was contacted by Ari, your brother, and yeah. Please go on.
I just wanted to say that my brother actually rescued 2 sheep from their
truck
farm, and they were more than they were so happy actually to give him the sheep instead of giving them to the slaughterhouse. And yeah, I think they did a video on all of this. Yeah, I don't know if they released it yet or if I should talk about it or not, but yeah.
Yeah, I think actually there was the vegan couple there, and they made a video about that, and they shared it on YouTube and stuff. It's just beautiful.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure they shared it already.
It's Jackie and Shu, the 2 sheeps. But this was amazing. Also, you have to see that they were ready to hand them over to sheep, to have a good life. That was just amazing. So yeah, they tried for a while to find different solutions, maybe to raise funds and things like that. But yeah, it's not an easy process. It's also a slow process when you do something like that. And even if you can raise funds, to transition them into a sanctuary, you still need money then afterwards, to continue caring for the animals. And not just the animals, the farmers need an income. So that's how they contacted me, and we started working together. We were in a lot of connection with this farmer. They're really interested, but they're still a bit in the it all sounds amazing, but we don't believe it. How can it work, And it was also funny because one time we were on a call after, we had a talk, we had another talk, and she was like, the farmer, she was like saying, oh, I went to the supermarket last time and I just said, okay, let's see what plant-based milk there is. She told me I was never in a plant-based milk aisle, and she said there are so many options. It's crazy. And then she tried some and she loved it, and then she made some research and said, yeah, it's going to be huge, plant-based milk in the next years. It was so funny to see her be getting interested in that, because she had no idea. And sometimes we forget that, because for us it's obvious, but for others they just don't know about it. They don't even know it exists in cases, especially farmers, who are in their world, basically. So it was really funny to see her evolve in this way. And so we are really, really much in contact still, obviously. We are first working with our 3 farms because they are more advanced on the process, and they also want to see them basically succeed, to get more confidence. Right. We have a support group where farmers can chat together about, so the ones that are already transitioned and the one interested, so they can ask questions between them and get more confidence, and so yeah, we're really much in this process with them, and hopefully we can work with them very soon. But they're really definitely very, very interested. They don't want to do that anymore. They're telling us that all the time to us. So yeah, I hope it's going to be evolving very, very soon, but it's an amazing story.
So I have a question from your experience. If, let's say, I met someone who is a farmer and he tell me how difficult it is, that of course he would love to not have to kill them, but he have no option. What would be the best approach that I can have to introduce him to you? Because most of them must feel like, oh, those vegan, they want to, what would be the best way to?
I think for them, it's interesting to talk about business. Because even if for them the move is ethical, because for most of them the move is ethical, they're still businessmen. They still need to secure the business. So by telling them that there is a business that helps them create a new business model, and that really makes it basically risk-free, because what I didn't mention is that we provide them the equipment for free to make the plant-based milk. We provide them the training, everything. We make the contact with the providers. We make all the contracts with the delivery system. We find the customers subscribe to our platform. So we really take care of all this environment. And basically they can start from day one, because we have this trial period where we just ask them to suspend their activity for those 3 months. And we provide them then with the subscription. And after the 3 months, only if they want to continue, then we go on a long-term contract. So, but basically they can just try during 3 months. There is no risk involved for them. And if they're not happy about that, they just send us back the equipment, and that's it. There's not too much of a risk for them and change, for them. So that's also something very interesting to tell them, that they can just try it out. Basically, they can just try it out. Obviously, once we will have success stories, of farmers transition, then it's much more easier to talk to farmers, because currently our strategy is not to go out and look for farmers. That's not what we do. We get contacted by farmers or by organizations that work with farmers, like Ari with the Save movement. And so, because it's totally different, because in this case, the farmers are already in another state of mind, if you can say. They already are thinking about, changing. So you don't have to convince them about that. You just have to convince them it can work. And so that's where we come in and do that. But if you go to a farmer who is happy about what he's doing, who earns enough money, or is just happy about what he's doing, you cannot just go there and tell him, I have a way for you to change. That doesn't work. It's counterproductive. And there are so many farmers that want to get out that we want to focus on them. And later on, when we have more and more, then those farmers can hear about that and then see, oh, it's working, for other farmers. So that's for us, it's the priority right now, is to launch at least one farm to be able to show that the model works, and to get other farmers who are hesitating, like the one in France, to see it works. It works out. Exactly. So yeah, for now, again, we're not trying to contact farmers ourselves. So yeah, in my opinion, the best thing is first to make it work with these farms, to be able then to reach out to other farmers.
Okay, I just want to share really quick your website, so you can let us know where we can register if we want to help. as a customer, let's say I want to register and put all my information. So it's all the way down, right?
No, you can just click there. Just go, yeah, here. No, just a bit down. Next to the cow. Next to the cow. There's a bit down. A bit down. Yeah, I'm interested. Yeah, it sends you to the form that you just fill. It's a quick form, a few seconds filling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we have a page also for the farmers where there's as well a form where the farmers can contact us from, where we give more details about how it works from the farmer side of view. And yeah, we also have an Instagram page. We have not been very active until now because, yeah, basically I was doing that myself until now. But now we have a team who's going to be working more on that. So because we are already working with, well, 3 farms as mentioned that are ready, but we have more in the pipeline. We have almost 10 farms we are working with actively. Wow. And so we have already a lot of content of cute animals to show and things like that. So we'll be sharing a bit more. This is the farm in France we were talking about before. So this is the kind of videos that the farmers send to me because they're proud of their animals, and it just shows the love they have for them. So we are really happy about that. And we are going to be, as I mentioned, being a bit more active on social media soon to be able to present very soon these new farmers we're going to be converting soon. And we're starting with a farm in the UK and 2 in Switzerland. But we want to be global. So we have other farms we're working with already in Spain, in France, in US. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I feel like this can explode from one day to another and go super viral. I truly believe this is the future, and I support 100% if I can do anything to help. Honestly, I think that's a genius idea. So thank you so much. And if there's anything we can do, if you want, I don't know if you have any advice or anything we can do to
for now really the help we can get is just to spread the word about the project, to share it on social media, so we get more and more people know about it, because when people know about it, it brings us opportunities. It brings us people that know farmers, for example, that are looking for transition, or people that contact us because they have an expertise in some kind of a field where we need, and so they can help us. And obviously it also helps us grow our network, basically, if you want. So because when we will be launching the pre-orders, we obviously need the customer on the other side to subscribe to this pre-orders so that we can show it works. And because what I didn't mention as well is that for each farm that contacts us, before we transition them, we firstly do a market research for each farm, because each farm is going to be in another location. So we need to know, depending on their location, if it's interesting for them, if it could work out. So we do a market research, and then we do these pre-orders, and only if the pre-orders are conclusive, if we see that it works, and people make the products, then we only really set them up for the milk production.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And also something we didn't really say, but because I think it was obvious, when they make the transition, they keep the animals they have. They won't send them to the slaughterhouse. That's actually the goal. They keep them, and you create a sanctuary over there that
exactly
hopefully we can visit. And
exactly, they're going to be visits, and we're going to talk about that. And for some farm, it's not as easy, and each farm is a bit different. But some farmer have cannot keep all the animals, for example, for them to have a good life. I mean. So we are, in some cases, we need to find homes for a few of them. So it really depends on each farm. And sometimes, so the transition to a fully sanctuary is a bit longer, because sometimes they have contracts going on that they cannot just stop like that. But yeah, we are trying to help them with all the process. And as I mentioned, we are working more with small to medium scale farms, as the solution would not work right now with bigger scale one, because obviously we cannot have the animals. If they have 1,000 animals, they cannot just keep them there in these conditions. So it only works for farms that have good conditions. And we are also working with vegan vets and other people that can really help those farmers transform into a sanctuary, because they know how to care for animals, but they don't know how to care for a sanctuary, for animals in a sanctuary, because they never have a cow that grows old, or in the industry, when a cow gets, breaks her legs or something, they just send them to slaughter because it costs too much to help her. So here, obviously, that's not going to happen, and so it's going to create a new, fully new world around that, because we'll need to have people finding solution for all that, and yeah, so we are trying to help them make the place the best for the animals.
Yeah, and I suppose it will be more easy to connect with the farmer and maybe help them if there's anything like that happen with an animal. Maybe people can donate and help, but you will be able to help actually directly to the farm. And yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you so much again for everything you do.
You. And I think
for everything you work with you, because you say you are like 9 working on this. So
yeah, now we are 9 working, and it's really a great team, an amazing team, and I'm so happy about that, because we progress so much. And so hopefully next month there will be transition, so stay tuned. But yeah, that's amazing. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on here.
Oh, of course. And yeah, and everybody, if they have any question, Refarm'd on Instagram, the website, they can contact you directly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Facebook we have as well. We have the emails there. Yeah, can send me a message through Facebook or on the website or per email, or we use WhatsApp as well. So
perfect. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks to you. Bye bye. Bye bye, everyone.
Yes, I told you she's very inspiring and powerful.